Close your eyes, come to me, feel alright. Just dance with me all through the night. Turn it out, close to you. I feel good, 'cause I just know feeling of you. Give it to me, baby. Feel alright. I feel good. Just want you step with me, dance with me, here with me, feel alright. I feel good on you, alright. To make a groove all night. Close your eyes, come to me, feel alright. Just dance with me all through the night. Turn it out, close to you. I feel good, 'cause I just know feeling of you. Give it to me, baby. Feel alright. I feel good. Just walk your step with me, dance with me, here with me, feel alright. I feel good on you, alright. To make a groove all night. Feel alright. I feel good. Just want you step with me, dance with me. Feel alright. I feel good on you, alright. Make a groove all night. Close your eyes, come to me. Close your
I'm gonna be like 1 extra second, but I'll be live in just a sec. All right. All right. So, I'm back. I I don't like the like being negative all the time. I don't like doing that. I really don't. But I've had a crazy um continuation to the week that I've had. So I'll share a little bit about it. But essentially what has been going on is that if you remember from the other stream where I mentioned that I had like a fraudulent Amazon purchase, right? And I had to get that resolved and get that all figured out and stuff. And then during the stream, you would see like something very strange. I think on stream, all that you would see is sometimes I would be drawing a line, and then that line would delete itself. It would undo. So maybe on stream it didn't really look suspicious, but on my end, not only would that happen, but a small PowerShell box would pop up for like a quick second, and it was really brief, and I was really suspicious. But obviously if I'm doing it on stream, I'm kind of like, well, I'm not seeing anything weird beyond that, so I'm gonna finish my stream, figure it out later. So then I figure it out later. There is spyware on my computer, right? That's what I find. And so I get upset, obviously. I delete the spyware. I have to go through, change like all my info. And I think like maybe that's it, but I'm not totally sure. I'm not naive enough to go like, oh, you just delete the spyware and it's done. I'm like, no, you could essentially have to reinstall Windows. And so I'm going through, just like using the computer a little bit, just keeping my eye out, and it happens again. And so I'm like, whoa, this is so weird. Long story short, in my job application hunt, through just applying for a job, I got spyware and malware. And so I am pretty sure I'm all cleaned up again. Basically, right on the hour is when it happens. So as long as we get to 1 p.m. and nothing happens, then I think we're good. So for now, we're gonna make some comics, and we're going to hopefully not get more malware. Oh man, as if like applying for jobs wasn't already difficult enough. Like, let me tell you, that was a really fun thing for the last couple days. All right, so we got one last panel. What is this panel? Oh yeah, it's this big eyeball. So what do we need for this? We need at least 3 layers, probably 4. But I am I'm just happy to be back and drawing again, especially because I won't be drawing for a little while, because I will be out of town and won't be live for a little while. So that's a little bit disappointing, I won't lie. Okay, let's get into it. So that being said, I want to get a lot done today if I can. I really do. I think I can get done, obviously this page here. This page is not too bad, because it's just one last panel that I didn't finish up the other time. But I think I can also finish up the next panel. I totally think I can. It's a very simple, or sorry, not the next panel, the next page, because it's a very simple page. It's not very difficult at all. All right. So let's get started. Let's get started. Oh, okay, that's not it. Yeah, it was really annoying. It was really annoying. And like, I don't know. I'm not the type of person to like just willy-nilly apply to just about anything. Every once in a while, I'll throw an application to something and be like, whatever. But most of the time, I'm like, no, I think I would do this job. I would do this job. And like sometimes it's like I would do this job because I think it's fun. I would do this job because it's a great opportunity. I would do this job because I'm a really good fit for it. And other times I'm like, I would do this job just because the money is like worth what I'd have to be doing. So like, I'll be real. Sometimes it's a little bit of, you know, a few of those things. And most of the time, it's not me just like throwing applications wherever. Because I know a lot of people are using like AI to make that happen and stuff, and I'm still trying to fight the good fight, even though it's pretty rough out there. But I try to vet places a little bit and stuff, and so I'm like, dude, I don't know how that job application really just like gave it to me. That's crazy. But yeah, it's as if it's not hard enough to find a job, man. They're handing out viruses now. Handing out viruses. I'm just like I'm a little grateful that, oh, I guess a lot grateful that I'm smart enough to figure it out, even if it took me a little bit. But the whole thing has me a little bit worried because I'm like, I don't want anything to be like totally compromised. Because I know, like, you know, it doesn't take very long and stuff, but I did, you know, do the whole like rip your Ethernet cable out of the computer so you can figure it out a little bit more. But also, like, sometimes you need to connect to the internet briefly to get it all taken care of. Also, I do think it's possible it's just some random address. It is totally possible, but I think I have their address. Not that I intend to do anything malicious right now. I think if it's all cleared up, if it's all good, you know, what's the point? Because it's not far from here, so who knows, man? Who knows? People really just be doing. I'm just like mindlessly doing this, and I need to pay attention a little bit, just a little bit. Like my line quality is not where it should have been. But yeah, it's like it's so odd that something like that would be so accessible, you know, their address. That's why I'm a little suspicious, where I'm like, it could just be a random address. I don't know. But whatever. Yeah, initially I was like, I think that like Amazon purchase is like from some kind of like mail stealing or something. I don't know. But in my head, I was always like, I feel like that's just not as effective anymore, right? Or is it just me? But I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to steal people's stuff. I'm just trying to make comics, man. I'm just trying to motivate some artists here and there. That's all I'm doing, man. Alright, we got some rocks over here to draw too. But anyways, aside from all of that stuff, because I don't really want to be like getting into talking about malware. That's just How fun is that? So we have this final little panel up above, and shouldn't take too long for us to finish it. But then after that, we actually finally get to introduce our main character, Ichabod. And beyond that, we only have a few pages before we start getting into to the end of Kannibal's first chapter. So if you see here, this panel here on the left, that's the plan to finish today. And then we have 4 regular panels following that. And a lot of it is just a conversation, although it has a decent amount of background work in the city. And then we're going to do a cover and this full color page at the end. I think what we have time for today is this first panel and the next page. Maybe, just maybe, depending on how fast we can move, a couple of panels on the next page. But my plan is that this like page 19 right here will be done tomorrow. At the minimum, that's where I'll be by the end of stream tomorrow. Again, maybe, just maybe, a little bit into 20, because I don't think that these pages are very difficult. In fact, I think they're some of the easiest ones. So I don't want that to be like, I guess what I'm saying is that's not a guarantee for me. I got to make sure that I am moving. And I am getting stuff done. Otherwise, it won't get done. And because I will be out of town for what is essentially a week, I won't be able to stream until basically, I think it's the week of Christmas, essentially. Yeah. So I really won't be back until like the 20th. And I'll probably stream only for like the 20th and the 21st. I won't be here the 22nd through the 25th. And yeah, I guess I'll be back the 26th. So thinking about that, Cannibal should be done basically the last week of December. So we end the year with a new version of Cannibal, which is cool. Start putting some details down here. Oh my god, and then here's another random thing too, just to add a little bit to my misery. You probably can't tell on stream really, because it's not that serious, but I woke up and my lip was busted. I don't even know how. I don't know how that happened. It's not too bad. It is a little bit painful if I like eat something spicy, or sometimes if I smile really wide, like it'll kind of like hurt a little bit. So it's not that bad or anything. But I'm like, dude, did I like get elbowed in my dream and it busted my lip in real life? Oh man. There was this movie I remember watching as a kid, and I don't think I should have watched it as a kid. But I think I was maybe like 7 years old or something. I don't know. But there was this movie. It was a horror movie, but it was like one of those cheap, terrible B flicks. And my older brother, I remember he hated it and thought it was dumb as hell. but I thought it was cool only because of the concept, which was if you die in the video game, you die in real life. Oh man, I kind of want to rewatch that because I know it's really bad. I know it's really bad and stupid. But I think it took place in some kind of mansion or something. And I almost want to say there was like some kind of like Bloody Mary figure or something, and it was. I know there was some stuff around, like they were definitely hitting you with some like we gotta upgrade the flux capacitor type of stuff, you know, gamer language that they were trying to make up that didn't really mean anything. Just a bunch of nonsense, you know. It was definitely made by somebody who did not play video games, and I think the video game will also kind of look like crap. But it certainly was not age appropriate for me to be watching at that time, if I remember it correctly. Not because it was scary. I think they were just there's some mature themes to it that were just mature themes that were very immature. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. Well, we are already pretty much done with this eye's details. We just need to get the pupil in there and then some of the veins on the edges of the eye. Oh, my wrist is feeling a little cramped. If you don't know, if you ever have like issues with your wrist, there is a like digital like drawing glove that you can get that has this like strap here. It's such a sick glove. It's called Doki Wear. I remember when I got them though, or got one. I didn't get multiple. They were out of stock for a little while. But yeah, Doki Wear, DOKI Wear, like what you wear. But highly recommend them. I've had it for a long time, and it is helpful whenever you do feel any kind of like wrist pain, because it kind of like prevents you from moving your wrist in a way that would hurt you. And it's not perfect, but it is like it's probably the best one out there. And even if you don't feel like carpal tunnel pain, sometimes it's good to just be like preventative. But yeah, I've had it for maybe going on like 4 or 5 years. And I remember when I saw their website, I was like, damn, their website's outdated as hell. But, you know, who cares, man? They make a good product, and clearly they were having trouble keeping up with sales because it was doing so well. Doki Wear. I feel like I was saying something else before I just immediately thought about my wrist. Maybe about the eyeball. We just want this pupil and we're done with that. And then we'll detail some of the background. Yeah, that's good for me. We're gonna work on some rocks. Sure, maybe a little boring, but honestly, I enjoy just kind of the methodical, mundane creation of the rocks, because it's not too hard. It takes some time, but I think it looks good in the end. And I like doing this kind of like hatching process for the rocks. And I don't think I need my storyboard up for this either. I think we can just see what we're working on. I think it's more fun that way anyways. So I believe I have is it today? Maybe it's tomorrow. I have a full-length video coming out. So I'm excited about that one. I feel like it's better than the last one. And again, like I've said this before, and this is not to like go woe is me. I actually like my shorts do the best, and I'm okay with that. But my full-length videos don't typically do that well. I don't think they get promoted very much, which is, it's fine. I'll promote them a little bit in my shorts. And then I think that's where the majority of my videos get their views, is through like, oh, like if you like this, I have a full-length video. And then some people will actually click on it through there. But this new one is, I think, pretty good. Pretty good. I do have to make some more videos today, because since I'll be out for so long, I won't have anything coming out. So I gotta make sure my nibblings are stocked up for their content. Okay. Okay. Since we're in the rock mindset, I'm gonna stick with working on these rocks over here. The video is about the color purple. Purple is my next color. And then I think I might look through and see what people commented before about wanting to see done, and maybe work on those colors, because I did have a few people kind of request a couple. And I have kind of an idea to like merge a couple of ideas together. I had people asking how to use Illustrator. And I don't know. I guess like, you know, everybody's at a different point in their life, but I wasn't expecting people to ask me how to use Illustrator. That one I wasn't expecting, but when I think about it, I am pretty good at using Illustrator. It's like, it's one of the tools where it's like, I don't really have to think about how I do stuff. I have all these like crazy little tricks that I've come up with on my own and stuff, and seen other people do too. And so I think I am a pretty good resource for that. That being said, I actually have a video idea that I've been keeping in my back pocket for a little bit. Because I guess no particular reason aside from like sometimes I just forget about it. But I have taught a lot of classes of just like random people, like not necessarily artists, but people who want to make art, and maybe they're like an HR person or something, and then just kind of helping to teach them how to start learning art. What is kind of funny is that it's like a PowerPoint presentation. So I'll have to like maybe make some adjustments or something, or I could just kind of go through it like a PowerPoint. I just don't want it to seem like cheesy and low quality. Like I want to have a certain standard for what I do. But I do think what I talk about in there is pretty effective. Again, it's for like absolute beginners. So maybe it's not for everybody. But I've gotten a lot of good comments from people who've gone through it in real life. Oh no, I just had the thing come up. Yeah, I think maybe what I spend my time doing is reinstalling Windows a little bit. I might have to do that later today, which is so annoying. I want to work on stuff, you know? Really do. But such is life, such is life. Alright, let's get these. That's such a low quality texture for a tree. Oh man, I was talking about something and then my brain totally forgot because it's so freaking neurodiverse, man. Just everything. I'm hating what I'm doing right now. Oh, it's okay. Let's start with this one. I think this one is actually going to be a little bit easier. There we go. And then I think if you add little bits out here, you kind of make it feel a little bit more tree-like. Maybe some on the inside too, actually. I guess it's just varying the line weight. That's all I'm actually doing, is varying the line weight. And then adding the texture to the outside. I think I will darken some of this stuff out a little bit, like this. Add some kind of level of like shadow. And then what we can do, that gives us enough room to actually erase out some texture into it from the layer above this. I remember what I was talking about. I was talking about the video for absolute beginners. But there's a lot of things where like I've talked about some of these concepts on like shorts and stuff. But I do think it's important to like kind of bring them together a little bit. So then like you can kind of understand how they all relate. Like I talk about how drawing is a lot like reading. And a lot of the times, aside from when you start getting to like really professional levels, you can kind of associate an age to a drawing level. And the problem is that like when you stop drawing, that's where your drawing age stops. So like if you as a kid stopped drawing when you were, I don't know, like 11, you probably have 11-year-old drawing skill level today. Whereas if you stopped drawing when you were 16, you probably are a little bit better at drawing. And I think it's a lot of the times those people who like took it a little bit farther but not that far and still like didn't really take any like drawing classes or didn't really like get where they might have wanted to go with drawing. It's those people that like really want it a little bit more like later in life. And it's like you've done actually a decent part of the work. You just need to understand a couple more little details and practice a little bit. and like you can actually draw like pretty good. That's the thing about like drawing is like reading. It's because you don't start with the chapter book when you start reading. You start with picture books. You start with a couple of very simple books, and then you can kind of like get into the chapter books a little bit more. All right, so I gotta do some water detail here. And I don't want it to be like too crazy because we do have the speed lines also coming through here. But the same is true for drawing. If you start trying to draw like some really crazy stuff, you're not gonna be able to get where you want to go. It's like, this is why a lot of kids end up like neglected in school, and you have kids that are illiterate when they really shouldn't be, because maybe they didn't get the help they needed early on. And then when you start learning in high school, everything that you learn is through books and stuff and through reading. And so then they fall behind everywhere else. So in drawing, am I drawing on the wrong layer? I am drawing on the wrong layer. No, I'm such a fool. It's okay. We do it again. We go again. I was too distracted with drawing as reading. But the idea is that if you get the support to like get your early development in drawing the right way, you get everything that you need. You understand some of the very basic concepts. And some of them are even more basic than like the art principle. Some of them are just like super simple. Like some of it is like learning how to see. That is like a very real thing where you'll run into people who are trying to draw and they don't know how to like see what it is that they're drawing. They are used to the life that is provided to them by society, where it's a needed skill set to, let me see what this is looking like because it's a little confusing. It's a needed skill set to look at something and then be able to like iconify it. It's like when you see the eye, you think eye, but that's not an eye. That's not what an eye looks like. It's a little bit more complicated than that. And so if you live your entire life only doing that and not developing the other side of your brain that can deal with something that takes a long time to do, then you struggle with the drawing process a lot more. So if you develop some of those early things, then you'll be able to understand like, oh, this is why they tell you to do the principles of art. I understand now, and I can approach those a little bit easier because I have some of the like even like below foundation level skills, which is how to see. That's something that you need. And I've learned so much of this and like been able to articulate so much of this because of Betty Edwards. That's why I always recommend that book. I always talk about that book. It's probably the book I talk about the most. And like, I'll be real, I did not read that whole thing. I did not go through that whole process because I wasn't at that level of like beginner. I was already a few steps above that. That doesn't mean that there's nothing in there for me to learn at this point. I'm sure there is actually, but that book for me helped me understand some of these concepts well enough to be able to teach them. And people really resonated with that when I taught them. And so that's why I kind of think like it might be a good idea, even if it is kind of like PowerPoint style a little bit, to go over some of this stuff and like make a whole video about it, because like I truly believe that quite literally anybody can learn to draw, and like I think there's some people who will come up with certain excuses about like, well, I can't draw because X, Y, and Z, but none of those things actually matter. And you don't fully get that until you're able to draw better than you think you could have ever drawn. Because again, this drawing is like, to somebody else it's probably poo, and that's fine. To me, like 10, 12 years ago, I never really actually thought I would be able to draw even this good. Which is to say that like I still have a long road ahead of me. I still want to be a lot better than this. Like if this is where I end up 10, 12 years from now, I would be disappointed, because now I know that like the path is so much wider. It literally just takes some of the effort and practice and like studies to be able to get there. And it sounds so boring, and it sounds so like, oh, well, I don't have the time and I don't want to do this. But again, when you start getting into it, you start like actually understanding how it goes. You realize like, oh, it's really not that bad at all. It's not that bad at all. It's a much simpler process than I thought. It's just a little daunting and a little bit scary at first, and like, yeah, there is a lot to learn. But I think like if you let go of some of that like embarrassment, you let go of some of the perfectionist side of yourself. Like I told myself when I made this chapter of this comic for the very first time, because I'm remaking it now. When I made it, I was like, it's going to suck. It is going to suck, and that is okay, because I'm doing this so I learn how to do it, so I get a lot better, and then eventually I will be able to draw at a higher level and be able to remake it and be happy with it then. And even now I'm like, it's possible I will remake it a third time, maybe several years in the future. Because I don't feel like it's productive to just constantly remake something. But that mindset that I had at the beginning, where I was like, this is gonna suck and it's okay, and I'm still gonna show it off, and that's okay. And like people might look at it and be like, wow, he doesn't know how to draw, and I'm like, that's okay, because I'll be able to point at that and be like, look how much I didn't know how to draw back then, and look at what I did now. And this is 2 years apart, not even. So it's like, if you ever root for the underdog, it's like the underdog is never always the underdog because they have this like perfect expectation of themselves. They're the underdog because they have failed. They're the underdog because they're expected to fail, because the expectation for them to not do well has already been set. And that's what makes them so like sick. That's why people love to root for them, when suddenly there's the possibility that like, holy crap, this person might actually do it. They might actually be the one. And that underdog tale, I feel like it's often told in like sports. You'll see that in sports all the time, but from my limited, which is very limited, view of sports, I don't know that there is usually underdogs in real sports. Maybe there are and I just don't see them, but I feel like that's not very common. Where I do actually see real life underdogs happening all the time is in art. It's in art where you see them. Like I think about the guy who made Attack on Titan. His art was not good, but his storytelling was. And his art isn't like the worst, okay? I'm not trying to say like this guy sucks and you shouldn't look at his art, but like he was notoriously known for not really being able to draw that well. And One Punch is another good example of that too, where it's like this guy for sure didn't know how to draw, but he went for it anyways. And although he didn't succeed because he suddenly got better at drawing, it's a little bit different. He partnered up with an artist And it's known to be like one of the best illustrated manga out there. And my whole point is that like there's a lot of ways that you can succeed. But you can definitely like get there and become an underdog in art in real life. I think that's actually way more achievable than something like sports. And it all starts like if you are super, super early, it starts with simple concepts like how to actually see things. So if that is interesting to you, that's probably going to come out sometime soon. Because I do want to make it sooner rather than later. I'm just having trouble with this PC. That's like my biggest holdback right now, is that my PC has been... it's been the worst. It's been having a hard time. Some of probably its own fault and others of mine probably. So it is what it is. But I don't think it'll take me like super long to do it. I just have to work on some stuff on this PC first before I start working on videos, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. At least I know what I'm supposed to do. Okay, I think it's enough water detail for now. I think we can just do a little bit of the like steam here, and then the speed lines. We'll add some tone after that, and then we'll be in a good spot. But yeah, the well, I'm trying to think of some of the other concepts of like learning. I mean, one of them is that I go over is like perspective. It's like very, very basic perspective. It's nothing like crazy. You don't need to like get too deep into it. I feel like if you know 1-point perspective and you can kind of understand how that goes, you can figure out 2-point perspective on your own. 3-point perspective is a little bit more difficult. I think you do need a little bit of guidance, and which is one that I can also talk about. Like, I think it's better to talk about it separately because I do not think that you need 3-point perspective in order to start to draw. I don't think you do. I do think it's important to understand 1- and 2-point perspective, mostly because, like, let's say you want to draw characters, right? And you want to draw characters with cool outfits, and you want to draw them so they, like, maybe they have swords, or maybe they, like, have something about them that makes them interesting. The reason that perspective is important for that isn't even necessarily like yes, you want the character to exist in perspective. That's a good thing. But like just a beginner level thing, like the first step I would encourage you to take is like, okay, so they got a big belt buckle. Let's just draw the belt buckle in perspective. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfectly accurate to the perspective of the character right now. But let's think about it for 1 second, because you'll just draw a better belt buckle, even if it's totally not matching the perspective of the character when you first try it out. And so it's like small things like that. And if it's like, okay, I don't care about outfits, well, maybe you care about the swords, right? If you draw the sword just like this, right, and then you got the hilt or whatever, that's not a good sword. But if you know that the sword has an edge to it, sorry, I'm drawing kind of small, right? If you know it has an edge to it, you're drawing a better sword already. You see what I mean? And it's not taking me all that much more effort to do this. Like, think about the time it took me. It took me maybe like, yeah, sure, maybe twice as long to do that, but it was like 3 seconds versus like 6 seconds. You know, so it's like small little things like that where it's like you should learn perspective even if you're just going to do that, right? And I say this stuff too because I think it encourages people to go, okay, so I learned it. I see the value of it here at this point. I think eventually you go, all right, well, I've learned a lot about drawing people. I've learned a lot about how to render. I've learned about shading and lighting, this and that. And I think eventually you'll see that perspective has more value beyond that, and it'll just interest you on its own. So I think if you just get a little touch of it where you're like, okay, even for the purposes of what I'm doing, that was terrible. There's already a little bit of value, and I'm just gonna still focus on like drawing characters and how to draw faces and all of that stuff, which is not my recommendation, but I know what artists are like. I know sometimes that's just all they want to do, and that's okay. My opinion is that like you should draw what makes you happy, and you should learn about the art that makes you happy first. Granted, you can't just jump in to anything just willy-nilly, but like, you know, if you focus your learning on what you want to do, that's fine. I don't think that's actually a problem. I think eventually you'll see the value of learning some of this other stuff once you like dip your toes in a little bit. So all of this stuff is some basic stuff that I'll kind of talk about and cover a little bit. And I do go over a lot of resources, but I have gone over a lot of the resources too in other videos too. So it's not like that's a whole new section of that video. I'll kind of regurgitate some of the stuff I've said in the past. The part that always makes me nervous, and I guess it makes me less nervous now because I draw on stream now. But it used to make me nervous a lot was there was a drawing demo for it. Like I would draw a person's face. And I would have people draw like alongside me. So like that's something to consider as well. But yeah, I mean, I think in that short amount of time, because I would have to kind of cram like an hour's worth of material, like I could get through it in an hour. I'd like cram it into 30 minutes, 45 minutes maybe. And I think I would still improve people's drawing ability in that short amount of time. Okay, we want some like very thin lines or like steam up here. I've not drawn it like this before, so it's kind of looking a little chicken scratchy, which I don't love. Can make it a little better. But yes, some simple concepts like that really make a big difference, in my opinion. And I'm super passionate about that stuff too. Like I really am. Like I would love to see people who maybe get inspired by something that I do or something that I say or something that I'm teaching or whatever, and they end up like so much better than I am. I think that's so awesome. I think it's so awesome, and I think that's like something I'd be really proud to do. Such a accessible world, the art world. It really is not as closed off as you might think. I think what is a little bit closed off, I'll be real, selling your work is a little harder. That is a little harder. Selling your work can definitely be quite a tricky challenge because sometimes it is about the people that you know, but in terms of getting good, no, it's really actually quite simple. And like I've heard excuses too about like what is it called? Aphantasia, or like if I tell you like picture an apple in your head, a lot of people can picture an apple in their head, and there's different levels of how well they can picture it. Some people can't picture it at all, like they have no mental image in their head. Even those people can definitely draw. So like if you ever thought that like there's no way I can't do that, there is a way. There is a way. I promise you there is a way. I used to be one of those people that was like, I don't have the natural talent for it. I can't do it, you know, and yeah, I just found out that like, oh, I was wrong. Oh, that was like that thing I thought was like not true at all. And I think when you live in that world where you're like, oh, I can't, you're just living in like a worse world than the world where you realize like, oh, I thought I couldn't, and I can. Turns out I can. You know, why would you want to live in the world where like it's just not possible, so like I shouldn't try? You know, it's a lot more fun to live in the world where it's like I thought it wasn't possible, yet here I am doing it. Art's just cool, man. Art's just cool, and I'm just surprised that like not enough people do it, man. Not enough people do it. Really is quite a fulfilling experience, you know, and like I've not been shy about like some of my life circumstances being kind of crazy, but like I'll tell you right now, man, just the ability to draw, just being able to draw whatever it is that I want, even if it doesn't turn out good every time, it makes like it will always make life worth living. It's always so much fun. I really enjoy it, and I think a lot of people can get maybe not even the same level of satisfaction, because maybe I love it more than other people love it. I don't know. I'm just talking. But I think people can learn a lot. They can see a lot of value in the world, in themselves, in what they make. And I think other people see that too. Other people definitely see like the love or dedication that you have for something, and will tell you, you know. Like I didn't mention this a whole lot, but like when I was trying to sell at art markets, and I'm still in that process, even though I'm not going to be doing it for very long. Won't get into all that too much, but like even so, and I think this eyeball should be a little darker. Even so, one thing I didn't mention a whole lot is that like people would say very nice things about my artwork, even if it wasn't selling too well. Like people would like tell me some like really kind things, and so I think like a lot of people don't have that in their life. A lot of people don't get to experience that much, and I'm telling you that you don't need anything like too crazy to get to that. You really don't. You really don't. And I think it's also my opinion, so take it however you want, but that a lot of people have like a lot of ideas for stuff. They have a lot of ideas for stuff, and they don't act on them. And that's not to say like, oh, shame on you for not doing that. No, I think like it's cool to have a lot of ideas, and I'm sure you want to act on them. And it might take like some level of skill for you to like feel comfortable to act on them. But that's what I'm saying, like art is incredibly accessible. It's never been more accessible. It's just been a little scarier since AI, but like if you're not trying to get a job as a artist, that's typically not an issue at all. If you just want to do it for fun because, I don't know, you work in HR or finance or something, or you just work at a grocery store and you want to do something, it's the perfect time. It is like, it's a great time to learn to draw because there's so many resources out there. There's so many like YouTubers that are doing it, you know, and like, I don't say that as like, oh, look at me, I'm one of them. Like, I'd love to be in the ranks, but like, I'm certainly not in the big leagues of like the most valuable people to pay attention to. I'm not trying to devalue myself. I think I'd say a lot of really good stuff and all that stuff, but like, there's a lot of others out there that are doing the same thing, and some of them have just done it longer, seen a little bit more success in their time. And it's for a good reason, man. They're helping people to get better at art, you know. And I say that as a consumer of the same arts. Like, if you're looking for similar stuff, like Adam Duff, Istabrak, Artwad, what's his name? Ethan, I'm blanking on the name. I always forget his name. Is it Ethan Becker, I think? So many people are like giving you just the freest advice, and they're professionals in what they do. Like, it's a perfect time. It's a perfect time to get good at it, you know? So I say all this stuff is like encouragement. And again, if you're like, I'm an absolute beginner, I have no idea what I'm doing, I feel like everything I draw looks like a kindergarten kid drew it, then that's where I'm telling you, like, stick around. I will have the video for the absolute beginner pretty soon. Because yeah, it takes just trying to do it. It just takes trying to do it in some very basic principles, and you're set for life, you know. The other thing too is a lot of people think like if they're in their 20s or 30s or 40s or 60s that they're too old. And that's like the craziest thing to me. That's the craziest thing to me, because you think, oh, you know, people they start when they're like 12 or something, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure. Let's take a kid who started drawing when he was 8 years old, and now he's 18, and he's in the industry, and he's working hard, and he's got a job, and he's doing amazing. How long did that actually take? 10 years? Okay, and how old are you? Let's pretend you're 65. Let's pretend you're 65. Okay, your retirement age. Chances are you'll live to 75. Most people live to about that age, somewhere around there. I think the median age is, or the average like lifespan is like 78, I think. You would still have like 3 years of being just as good as that 18-year-old artist that you think is like amazing, that started early and started young and stuff, and is like, dang, if only I started that. It's like, no, like, you have the same amount of time. You may never be better than them because they've had more time. That's possible, but like, it doesn't matter also. Like, you don't have to be the best artist that ever was. Like, I don't think anyone can really name one artist and be like, this is the best artist that ever was. You know? A lot of people have their own opinions, you know? And I think that rarely there comes a time where we have an artist that we go like, this is the best living artist. And the best living artist has died. That was Kim Jong-il. I think a lot of us agree that he was probably the one. And let me tell you, Kim Jong-il, I think he started when he was like 26 or 27, or maybe in his 30s. I can't remember exactly. But his career wasn't very long. His career was not very long. And he was amazing at what he did. So like, so many of these little excuses, they do not equate to anything. They don't. And I don't say this as like, stop making excuses. I'm not that guy. Like, I get it. I used to do the same thing, man. I used to do the same thing. I say it as like, you've got this. You've got this, and you're not at a disadvantage. You're not. I promise you, you're not. You're at a higher advantage than most people who ever lived. I think just by sheer, like, if you're able to listen to me right now, you're at a better advantage than anyone who's ever lived. Well, not anyone, but most people that ever lived. Because it's just the sheer amount of resources, the people out there who are willing to help you for free, who don't know you. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I was talking about how the internet's like maybe a net negative for people in general, but like this is one of the positives, man. This is a serious positive. Serious positive. It's got a lot of benefits. That's one of my favorites. Certainly one of the ways that I got better too, by the way. Just saying, like, I didn't get to where I am by myself. Certainly did not. And granted, I had a lot of help from friends too. I won't lie. But it is also, I think I got a lot of encouragement from friends and didn't listen to them as much. I didn't. I think I came to the conclusion on my own. And then after the fact went like, oh yeah, people were telling me this before. And I didn't listen. I didn't listen to them. Here I am doing exactly what they said I should be doing. But hell yeah, you got this, man. You got this. I'm telling you, you got this. You can learn how to make really good art. You can. You absolutely can. I'm so confident in your abilities. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. If you don't have a cheerleader, I'm right here. Your Uncle Basement's your biggest cheerleader then. But that's real, man. That's real. Sometimes it's just very simple concepts that you need and a little bit of encouragement and let go of some of those excuses that you might have made for yourself. And again, I don't blame you for doing that. I don't blame you for doing that. I did that myself. I did that myself. Okay, so I think we're done with this page. I think we're done. I'm gonna check the storyboard really fast, make sure I'm not missing anything. No, it looks alright. Okay, let's take a look. This is what we've got. This is what we've got for these 2 pages. Sorry. Oh. Drink something. This is what it's about, man. This is what it's about. In fact, let me pull up the old version. Let me pull up the old version so you can see, if you haven't seen it before, just what I'm talking about and just how real I'm being about stuff. Let's see. We got 2 pages we got to bring in here. Got this one, and we got this one. And now, granted, it's a totally different style. I won't lie to you about that. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. We're gonna bring them up right about there. This is what we had. This is what we had before. Okay. And it's like, yeah, there's some stuff that's cool about this too. Like, it's a little bit more gritty. It's got the blood stains on the page or whatever. Maybe you like the eye or something better. I don't know. I think like there's a lot of random detail for this, but even so, it doesn't make total sense. Like, that looks like flowers. It's not flowers. But you know, in general, the characters aren't even drawn super well. And then we go to this, which feels a little bit more lived in. It feels a little bit more realistic. It feels a little bit more like a comic or a manga. So stuff like this is what I'm talking about. Is like that didn't take that long to get to that point, and it's not like I just worked on these 2 pages forever. I just did a bunch of other stuff and then decided, I'll come back and I'll redo it. And it was fun the entire time. It was fun the entire time. There was not a lot of time where I was like, I hate doing this. There really wasn't. There really, really wasn't. All right. So we're moving on to the next page, which is the main goal of today. And that is this one. Now, I'm also going to bring in the old one because I actually think the old one is one of the best pages of the original. I think I actually did a very good job with this in the original, which is why I'm keeping a lot of the composition the same. And I'm bringing this in because I actually think I want to keep the composition of the bottom panel as well. I changed it in the what is it called? The storyboard. And I actually don't think that was the move. I think keeping the original composition was best. So I will do that. So you can ignore this bottom panel because we're not drawing that. We're not going to be doing that. The rest of it I am going to keep the same. I guess all of it I am keeping the same technically. So we need 2, 3, 4, 5 layers here. One of them is just a sound effect layer. And another one is a speed line layer. All right, we got details. We got the eye, and we got the background. So let's get to it. All right. But yeah, I think most artists, and the ones that I don't understand at all. Most artists would benefit from or would love to see more people drawing. Would love to see that. And I think we benefit from more people doing it. Because maybe you've heard this term, but like artists support artists. It's the people that appreciate art that support art the most. And although the job market right now is a little bit crowded, and that's me being conservative about it. I guess this is also my opinion that it would actually be better if more people were artists because we would put more value on it. We would put more value on it. We would not devalue it as we currently are. And I think I don't really know any artist at all that like loves AI. I know some like graphic designers. I know some graphic designers that are. But if more people were artists, more people drew, more people fell in love with that again, I think that people would also stop devaluing it with like AI and stuff, because you'll see a lot of young artists, a lot of young people who want to be artists fall into like the AI pipeline because it's easy. But I think a lot of people go like, they say art is hard, and like it is hard to be an artist sometimes, but art itself isn't the hard part. Sometimes it's, you know, the struggle within that we face, and that's what's hard. And by saying that art is hard all the time and that like it takes a long time and it's difficult, which it is, but I think what they don't say is like that is the fun part. That's like the part that we love about it, is that it's not just handed to you, you know? It's like some of these people will see something like art and be like, "Oh, it's too hard, I can't do it." And then they'll die 300 times to millennia. And I'm like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" It's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. I'm currently dying. I'm like on try like 600 of millennia right now. Like that's what art is. It's a real life Dark Souls game, man. But it's like that's the fun part. It's like sure, like sometimes you get infuriated and frustrated, but what happens when you do it? What happens when you do it? When you finally do get that last hit on Melania and she puts her hand up and falls and stuff. You're like, damn, I'm the goat. I'm the best. You immediately go, I'm the best. I'm the best. Hell yeah. But you know, that's what it's about. It's about like success in spite of incredible struggles and difficulty, and you know, against all odds, still being able to do it, you know, being at the disadvantage or whatever, and like having a hard time and stuff. All that stuff, it's like, yeah, man, that's hard and it sucks sometimes. But that's why you do it, man. That's why you do it, because you enjoy that process. Art's never really been about the final piece. Never has been. Never has been. And if you think so, you're naive. You're naive. Because I'm telling you, especially as you start developing a body of work, you start forgetting your own pieces, man. You start forgetting what they meant. You start forgetting what it was, because it's all momentary sometimes, you know. Sometimes it's all just, it goes in the wind, you know. I remember selling a piece to somebody and somebody going like, "Can you tell me what this meant?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I went, in my head, I was like, "No, I don't remember. It's been like 7 years since I made that one. I don't remember." It happens, you know? Because I've probably remade that piece with the same meaning somewhere else. Probably did it better. And the process is probably more fun. That's okay, man. That's okay. The joy of art, the beauty of it is that it's the process, it's the struggle. And it's brave just being an artist, man. It really is. Especially when quite literally like the majority of the world doesn't value it, doesn't care. They're all okay with just being like, "Nah, well, I can do that with AI. I can make myself a Ghibli character with AI." But, you know, I don't think that'll last like crazy, you know? I do think eventually we'll have some sort of, and like free business idea right now for anybody out there with I don't know, the ability to pitch to some big investor. Maybe you are a big investor or something, I don't know. But free business idea is platforms that are human centered. You know, Kara is one of those things that's a very like, I think that's one of the easiest ones. It's already out there and stuff. I'm gonna move this eye up actually a little bit. I just feel like it's kind of small in the composition. There you go. But like, I don't know, the Netflix that doesn't utilize any AI, you know, the YouTube that doesn't allow AI content, the TikTok that doesn't allow AI content. That stuff would eventually get some traction, you know. I think it's a little early right now. I do. Because unfortunately, I do think that we have to suffer through some AI slop. I think we're gonna have to suffer through some AI slop being shoved in our faces all the time. And then I think when people are really sick of it, then I think we're gonna seek some of that like human content, you know. Just had to check I was on the right layer there. Okay. I didn't even put the I in there. My layer name. Yeah, I saw something the other day about how someone's developing like a AI ad platform. Go a little higher. That basically integrates the ad placements into whatever it is that you're watching. So essentially, you'll be watching like an episode of The Sopranos, and then suddenly Tony Soprano is going to like pick up a Sprite and then do a Sprite ad, like because AI will like stop the episode, integrate it into the episode, and then smoothly transition it into whatever's happening next in the show. I think people are gonna get like really sick of stuff like that, man. It's such a dystopian world to like live in. I don't know. I don't say that to also be like really doom and gloom about the world either. It's like it's exactly what I'm saying. It's like you fight that with art. You know, you don't fight that by being like, "Oh no, the world is crap." It's like, "Yeah, it is. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?" We can make art about it. We can make cool stuff so people are more inclined to go to the cool stuff instead. And if you understand like good quality cool stuff, I think it's another thing too is like art. To get good at art, there's another like skill. Sometimes people don't talk about. I've heard people talk about it, but it's not that common. It's not that common. But it's your taste. Your taste has to be like a certain level for you to get better. And I think you're always going to be in contention with your actual skill level and your taste level. Because sometimes your skill level will be higher than your taste level, and then you won't be able to see how to advance forward because you will actually think you're at the top tier when like your skill level's way down here. Or sorry, I'm sorry. Let's just pretend that like the top of this frame here is the best you can ever be at art, okay? If your skill level's right here, right? But your taste level's down here, you will think you're better than that. You'll think you're better than everybody else. But if your taste level's up here, then you can strive to be up there. You see how that kind of like keeps going? If your taste level keeps getting higher, your skill level will like be enabled to go higher. But if your taste level is below your skill level, you have no motivation, no reason to go beyond where you are because you don't see how to get there. You don't see that that's even a thing. You won't be able to reach a higher level. I think like at that point, it's like you're just gonna have to get lucky to get better, you know, because your skill level, sorry, your taste is just so poor. That sounds so mean, but it's not mean. It's not mean. It's just kind of how things kind of work. the taste of an artist has to constantly be developed. And again, not to be mean, people who are not artists typically have like poorer taste. Not because they don't know what art is or whatever. It's just that like when you study it more, you understand why certain things are better. You know, I think before I really got into graphic design, I never really looked at movie posters and hated them the way that I do now. Because sometimes you'll see cool movie posters and that's awesome. But a lot of times I'll see movie posters and be like, okay, so the lighting's like all wrong on every single person's face. What the hell? Again, that's not because the artist who made it sucks. Usually they know too. And the executives that are like, we need this, we need that, or the actors that pick their portraits or whatever, don't have that understanding. They don't get it. You know, they just get that like, oh, I like this picture of me and that's the one I want. But it's gonna look bad in the final version because you don't really understand how, you don't have that taste to like understand why it might be worse. I don't know, simple things like that. There's a lot of simple things like that that again would help the art world a little bit more, because then you have people who understand. Like the average person will understand better than they do now. And that does mean that like the expectation of an artist to be good then becomes higher. That's true, because then if everybody in the world understood how lighting works, and you're the one artist who's like not really studied that at all, I don't say that as like shame on you, because like I certainly could get better at it myself. That does mean that like you're gonna have a little bit of a harder time. But honestly, like it's okay. It's really okay. It really is not like as big a deal as you might think it is. Let me get rid of this layer here. Okay, this is a pretty simple panel. So we're done with that now. We move on to the next one. I don't know. I'm kind of just like rambling at this point. Do I need anything more? I don't think so. Everybody being better at art makes life better for artists. That's where I'll leave it. That's where I'll leave it. Let's start with Ick's hand here. So anyways, that was a pretty long tangent for new video coming soon. New video I gotta work on. I think that another video I want to work on at some point, it's going to be a while before I get to that one. But something in regards to what I'm doing now. Because, you know, I've been streaming all this stuff this entire time. You know, I should make a video kind of highlighting some of this stuff. Talking about the whole process, how it all went and stuff. Like a retrospective or something. But obviously since I'm not done, I don't really know what the like core theme of it will be. I feel like that's kind of an ugly shape, no? So the problem is that I need this to be a circle, and then I need this to follow. And I'm not starting the rest of the thing where it needs to go. All right. Okay, all right. Getting somewhere now. Oh my god. That thing just came up again. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, that's so annoying. I hate that. I see you, I see you. Alright, once I connect this line here, I need to check something really quick. One quick second. Hmm. Alright, one second. You know, for now, I'm not gonna mute myself or anything, but let's listen to this beautiful piece really quick, shall we? I have caps lock on. What is this? Seen a lot of weird stuff. Just trying to... Oh. I gotta look something up really quick. Just had to delete a couple of things from I uninstalled some stuff and I need to make sure that's like totally gone. Sometimes it kind of leaves like extra stuff it doesn't get rid of. Almost done, I promise. Okay, all right, we're back. Sorry about that. was a little bit time sensitive, so I had to take care of it. I guess I can turn the tunes back down a little bit. Oh man, a little while ago, a few days ago, my wife and I finally finished watching all of Squid Games. The 3 seasons there. It was okay. It's a little bit disappointing and annoying, I think. Oh good lord. Oh, what is that? Sorry, one more second. Okay. Getting it figured out, sorry. This won't kill anything, right? Don't think so. Nothing freaked out, so. I just have to like look through my task manager really quick. Okay. I think I'm alright for now. Alright. We got to reinstall Windows, I think. Just hopefully solve some of my issues. But I'll do that after stream. Okay. I don't like how that looks. Oh, I hate that more, actually. Come on, you can draw a circle. You got this, bud. I believe in you. Okay, you kind of messed it up at the end. But it's okay. It's alright. And we just draw the iris. Boom. Get the background in here a little bit. All right. I'm gonna be so hype when there's a new Lies of P, man. I guess another thing, because I've been updating about it here and there. I did finish Bloodborne. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It's still a really good game, albeit at least for like the Souls games, I do think it's maybe the easiest one. I think maybe Dark Souls is easier, but like in different ways. Like I think the hardest parts of Bloodborne are harder than the hardest parts of Dark Souls. But obviously, like, traversing the map in Dark Souls is a lot harder than it is in Bloodborne. Even though Bloodborne doesn't have, like, certain quality of life things that some of the later games will have. Like, if you go to the lantern or whatever, you have to, like, go to the home world to, like, really do anything. So that's like a really small thing where it's like, well, it is what it is. But yeah, like, the DLC, right? I still struggled with Lawrence a bit. I still struggled with Lawrence. Lawrence is still a bit hard. Granted, not as much as I did the first time. The first time I really struggled. But I think Lawrence took me maybe like 10 to 15 tries. I don't remember. Something like that. It's embarrassing, man. I'm like, oh, are you kidding, dude? No way he's still taking me this many tries. But Orphan did take me a few more tries than it did the first time. I think it took me 5 tries. 5 tries. And I think the first time it took only 2 or 3. That being said, though, I was saying this to myself as I was playing and trying to fight Orphan. Is that I was like, I kept dying on the first phase, right? I died on the first phase the first 4 times. And I was like, I just need to get him to the second phase. Because I think, if I remember correctly, the second phase for me is easier. It's a little crazy, but I actually think it's easier. I think it's so much more predictable for me, and like I think I can understand it so much better. And let me tell you, as soon as I got him to second phase, he hit me only one time with like the projectile, but he never hit me again. He never hit me again. And I killed him the very first time I got him to the second phase. I think the main problem that I have with Bloodborne is that there's a lot of cool stuff that you want to use, but you really don't get it until way later. you know? And like if you want to play PvP or something like that, then I guess it's okay, because then maybe that has more replay value for you. But I don't really care that much about the PvP. Like, I don't mind invasions or something like that. It can be a little annoying sometimes. But in general, I don't really mind them or care. But I just, like, I'm not the type of person to, like, go invade them. Like, it's more fun for me to just do the base game. You know what I mean? But, like, that Milkweed rune and the Cost Parasite, it seems so cool, dude, but it's like it requires a lot of work for you to even get it, and then you can make it better, but like it's kind of hard to make it better. And like at that point it's kind of just like, do I really want to do all this, you know? And like Burial Blade is also looks so cool and stuff, but I've never used it because I'm like, well, you literally can only get it in New Game Plus. So why do I want to do this right now? I just kind of wish some of those things were not the case, you know. But I also acknowledge that I'm often one of the people that complains about the rewards of a final boss. So I'll be like, that's it. That's all they gave me. But then when they give you something good, then you're like, oh, but like now I can't use this unless I want to play the game all over again. So I don't know. I want my cake and I want to eat it too, I guess. I've been working with this the whole time. I need to get rid of that. You and you. Make you 80. His thumbs look weird without the detail. Okay, so you, and you. No, not you. Let's make sure we get all the little spots there. Yeah. It's all gonna be about 60. I don't know. I mean, it's fun regardless. I just think that there's a few little bits of the game that happened a little bit earlier. You know what I mean? Because I know you can get that beast weapon, the beast claw, a little bit early into the DLC. You can get it fairly early if you know where you're going. But that being said, it sucks until you get the Beast Rune, which you can't get until you beat Lawrence, which you can't get until you beat at least Ludwig. And then you gotta beat Lawrence. So it's like, I don't know. Then you're really only using it for 3 bosses. I guess 4 if you count Gehrman and 5 if you count Moon Presence, but Moon Presence is... I've literally never died to Moon Presence. It's the easiest boss fight ever. It's the easiest endgame boss fight. That's and that's saying a lot. I feel like the endgame ones are really easy. Like I think about Gwyn. Gwyn is so easy. And I know people are always like, but you know, that's the whole parry thing. I'm like, dude, I never parried Gwyn. He's just easy to beat. I don't know. Oh my god. There's literally like a dog chasing a child, chasing a cat, chasing a mouse upstairs or something. I don't know what's going on up there. There's just like so much noise and it's always just like constantly back and forth. But it's like very fast back and forth. It's very fast back and forth. Alright, let's put the details back on. And then we'll get the halftone in here. We'll finish. Oh no, no, it's not in all caps. My consistency, it's ruined. There we go. Alright. Alright. I really enjoy doing Hicks hands. I thought it was going to be really annoying over time, but I actually really like it. I really like it. I thought the other day too, because like every once in a while you think about like future projects or some like new idea or something like that. And I always try to like temper myself a little bit because I'm like, all right, you got a big project in front of you. Don't be thinking about the next manga right now. Yeah, the next comic book you want to make. You got a lot of work ahead before you can even start thinking about that. But I was like, dang, wouldn't it be cool to make like a main character that's a mummy? Wouldn't that be cool? And then I was like, oh, actually, when I think about drawing all that, that might be a nightmare. Because I love doing Nick's hands, but it's just the hands. It's just the hands. That's it. It's nothing more than that. So it's not too bad. But I was like, dang, if you did a whole person like that, that might be a nightmare. Would be crazy. But I feel like a mummy main character is kind of, it's a good vibe. It's a really cool vibe, I think. Maybe that's just me, man, but like, I do think it's a pretty good vibe. Let's go back to the hard erase there. All right, and then we just want the light one to kind of get it all. Whoops. Darken it up a little bit. Darken it up further. And I think he might say something. I don't remember. Oh my goodness. There we go. There we go. There we go. What do you say? You don't say anything, but we should make you say something. And make sure we get the balloon pen so we can make it look a little interesting here. There we go. Let's move it down just a bit. And then boom, we got that one. And we got this big wide panel here. I think just 2 layers here, and that should be enough for this panel, which is nice and easy. 2 layers. Granted, we're kind of mixing 2 layers together since the high and the ick is just, it's just gonna be one. There's no point in separating it. All right. And I think to add a level of like change between this one and when he's eating the eye, and then also making it feel a little darker on the next one. I'm gonna make this layer, or sorry, this panel with fairly thin line weight. And then the next one will be thicker line weight. So it feels a little darker. It feels a little bit more visceral, hopefully. That's what I'm hoping for. Alrighty. Damn, yeah, I just love doing the hand. The hand is pretty cool. Oof, that's like a really awful line, and you should have never done that. Should have never done that, dude. You're gonna regret that, pal. Alrighty. Okay. Cool. Then do the rest of the hand first. And then we'll be able to get that little part of the gauntlet taken care of. Let's do this. Oops, oops, oops. I'm gonna kind of ignore my storyboard for this a little bit because I simplified it a bit much in the storyboard. It's probably too far. And maybe that's also too far, I think. I think that's a little bit cleaner. Cool. I think I might increase the size of the hand just a tad. Just a little bit. Let's just go like that. Yeah. I think that makes a little bit more sense for the size. And then we'll be ready for the details. Get his little chin in there. Oh, how cute. Get a little bit of the eyelid kind of showing up a tiny bit. Okay. Kind of get a little bit of shading down here. The halftone will kind of fill in, I think, a lot more of him. So I'm not trying to go crazy. I just kind of want to get enough. Oh no. There we go. Okay. Just get these bandages all put in there. And the nail too, I forgot about the nail. Nail's gotta go over here, and there's a little bit of one over here as well. Just gotta make sure we are kind of following the form a little bit. I think I just don't like either one of these lines here. There we go. That feels a little bit better. And then just a little bit here to show that it's also bandaged. Oh, nope. The other thing you gotta remember is I don't have to like connect every single line and be absolutely perfect about it. Implied lines actually will make this look better than if I do connect every single thing. All right, now we just need this here. And the tone super fast. Let's turn that off. Tone will make this a little bit easier. So I'm gonna go with 80 for you two. And then 90 for the top lip, because the top lip is darker. We got this, come on. There we go. There we go. 90, I guess 95, not 90, but you know what I mean. Any second now. Okay. And now for the chain and the gauntlet and the ring. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, just thinking about what I was gonna do next, which I didn't need to do right that second. Yeah, we're pretty much on track to finish this page, so I'm happy about that. Go a little bit over, most likely. A little bit over our normal time. That's all right. Come on. There we go. All right. Now for you, go with 30. And then finally him with 20. And we'll look at the original here. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the original. Select it really quick. Just kind of get a good idea of what we're working with here. All right. So I think what we do here is give it like 40 for the background. The upstairs neighbors are actually insane. They are insane. They're going crazy on that floor right now. And I've had some crazy neighbors before, like some really crazy neighbors. But I don't think I've had somebody that like I really can't quite explain what's going on up there. Cause I know that like sometimes you just walk around and it sounds loud below you or whatever. But I'm like, this is a little wild. This is a little wild. Okay, so we're gonna half tone it up a little bit so we can make this look a little bit more decent. Let's do like this. I kind of wanted that to be lighter. We'll start over here too. I've not gotten to draw Ichabod with these halftone brushes, so it's nice. It's nice that I finally get to do this. I just don't like how bright that is. Or not bright, how dark it is, I guess, like how much it's showing up. Okay. A little bit of darkness around there. And for the eyelids. And here as well. There is scrubbing outside of my door. Someone is scrubbing outside of my door. I think they're like apartment cleaners that come by every once in a while. I think it's possible they might be adding renovations to my apartment, which is annoying because it's not my apartment itself, but like the building. Which is annoying because it's not that like old of an apartment building. Probably came up in like the 2010s or something. So like pretty decent. So all I'm looking at whenever I see this, like, yep, you guys are gonna call these smart homes or something and then increase the rent or something. Okay. As I finish the halftone, I'm gonna step away for just a brief moment. I promise this time it actually will be brief. I know I say that sometimes and then it's not brief at all. Am I missing anything? But I do promise this time it should be brief. Unless another like insane thing happens to me. Which I would love for that to stop happening. You know? Okay. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. Okay. Okay. All right. Now we just select this. I'm gonna go with the dark though. Why is my phone constantly buzzing? Go back to medium here. Okay. No, no. Okay, I guess I gotta erase. I guess I gotta erase. Try that again. I gotta figure out some stuff. I'm trying to figure out some stuff on the fly. Okay. Actually, I think this is gonna work. I think this will work just fine. Then we let it crawl up the wall there. Or the borders panel. The panels wall, I guess. I don't know. This guy doesn't know anything. This guy doesn't know anything. Alright. Do a tiny bit there. There's a little bit of like gradation I gotta work on here. Some of these spots are a little too obvious, I think. He says that we get a weird little text bubble for him. Boom. Okay. I'm gonna hit save really quick. Really quick. Gotta come a little far. Oh boy. Well, one thing I wanted to do today was that I didn't think I would be able to fit in is play some music. I guess we're gonna be doing that because I gotta reinstall Windows. Okay, so now what we do here, oh, that can stay. This is kind of the idea of the previous one. So you can kind of just like keep it a little bit. Three, four, yeah. Okay. Sound effects, details, X line art, and then the background effects. And then the other thing is, I'll need like a framework one, just to kind of like get the general idea, because he doesn't really have this shape to him anymore. He looks a little bit more like that. And we can turn this down a bit, so it's a little bit more sketchy. And let's use our pencil brushes as well. You can make something a little bit more interesting. Just a little bit more interesting. Yeah, I think something more like this. So I want him to... I do want you to see, like, the teeth. Very much. You kind of get the, like, splurt of it all. He's got his finger, like, here. And then there as well. Hey, it's gotta be a little bit different here. Maybe like... When you do this, you couldn't do it like that, right? When you eat something. Sorry, I'm using my camera as like my mirror. So I guess the idea would be more like, here's the fingertip. Right? Here's the knuckle. No, I guess, is it knuckle? What do you call that? I don't know. You don't see a lot of the hand. That's kind of the point. What do I have? 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay, alright. Got this all figured out. Maybe it's a little bit longer. Less like wide, I guess. Raise that a little bit. And then your neck kind of be like this. Shoulders are going to be wider. Head feels like it should be a tiny bit taller. What if we turn you off now? Do something like that. I emphasize the cheeks a little bit. Like the cheekbones, I guess. Kind of what I want to do. Kind of when I'm looking a little gross, you know? Like you should, this is kind of a gross out panel in some ways. I guess in a lot of ways, he's eating an eyeball, you know? The thumb is the part I'm still not like totally happy with. That's kind of what it should look like a little bit. So I feel like maybe it should end a little sooner. And then maybe take this here. Bring it down a tiny bit so the hand kind of shows. Then it doesn't feel as like short of a hand. I don't know, what if we flip it real quick? I think in general the hand is too small, right? Because when I look at my own hand here, I feel like it's a little bit bigger than what his hand is doing. That's maybe a little tiny bit too big. Yeah. That seems about right. And then I think we just center you a little bit more. Okay, that's our framework. So now we go back. We're going to use a bit of a thicker brush here. Than we did for the last panel, I mean, not for the framework. Framework was very loose. Still gotta clean it up. Still gotta clean it up. All right. Chains are always a little bit tricky. I feel like because I did the chapter 5 cover really well, sometimes no matter what I do, I'm not gonna be satisfied with the chains. Because the chains on the chapter 5 one actually look really good. Very little I would change about those. Okay. Maybe a little more like this. Okay. We'll get the eye texture here. Okay. And the lips. Okay. Nick, you're looking handsome. Let's get way thicker for the outline here. All right. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. And get some details in there, and I think we're pretty much getting to the end of this one. This stream, I mean. It's too high, isn't it? It's way too high. What we do is like a little bit more of a rounder shape to that. But we'll have some halftone to kind of help with that, so I'm not too worried about what that's gonna look like right now. What a handsome guy. We all love Ick. Okay. No, that was bad. Way too strong of a line there. Okay. Then we have some of these. We also can't forget about the hand and the eyeball and the teeth. I guess the teeth are important. Okay, let's do the eyeball here. All right. And oh, it feels good when I get to this part of the stream where I'm just like I'm locked in, nearly done. And we'll oh, I forgot a little detail here. That. Nope. Wrong. There we go. And then this detail we're gonna have to redo really quick. There we go. I like that line, but it went over a little bit. Do some of this. And that maybe. Seems good. Okay. Then this is gonna kind of swoop around there. Boom. Let's turn off the framework really quick. Can I get like maybe a little textured brush? What does a slugger look like? No, kind of want it a little watery. What is this? Oh, that's cool. I like that, but not what I want. Maybe a Sumi brush, huh? Nah, it's a little too light sometimes. What is a weirdo wash? Alright, that damn thing's popping up again, but... Okay, one quick thing. Okay, sorry. Back to where we are. Just looking for... Maybe it is this one. I was thinking about doing this one. I think it is this one. Just feel like I have a lot less control over it, you know? On the right brush. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I was checking the layer again. I feel like this right. Oh no, I forgot. Let's undo it because I feel like the right side is a bit much. It's a bit much. I think we just want to be a little subtle with what we're doing here. Not loving the tail on it. There we go. I feel like this is good enough. So we can kind of add like a little bit on the edge of the teeth as well. I think that's okay. It's pretty subtle, but that's okay. All right, now the background. It's gonna be a little bit interesting. I think we go with this brush here. We select the background so we don't mess up our lovely little fella here. Make it pretty big. Can I? All right, just checking. Yep. No, I don't like that one. I'll go actually maybe a little longer on that one. These kind of thin, yeah. Okay, all right. I'm liking the look of it. we go. Okay, all right, we're doing good. Okay, I like the look of that. And then we get rid of everything but this to quickly tone. Okay. So the background is gonna have this 80 texture. We're gonna give him just a tiny bit here. We're gonna make it all 95 for his lips because the eye is already in his mouth. So I kind of just want it to not be distracting. It will let me put it in there any minute now. Come on. There we go. Okay. Also, really quick. That's kind of what I thought. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Thinking too much right now. I need to just put stuff down. A halftone should be pretty interesting to put in as we get to that point. And I also just want to be careful about my sound effects as well because we do have a lot of dark backgrounds. Should make it easy, but they're textured. So I just got to be a little mindful about what I'm doing there. But all of this is going to be our mid-tone there. And then our friend Ick is going to be about as light as he can be. But I like this panel too, or this page and these panels in the original because I felt like it was a pretty good introduction to our main character. You know, he's gross, he's a little weird, he's clearly a bit unusual looking. So I felt like that was a pretty good introduction. But the my least favorite part is this tone here because it takes so long, and I have to look at the like ugly version of the line art the entire time. That's okay. It's okay. You just trust the process. You trust the process. It'll be fine. All right, this is the last little bit though. We just gotta adjust them afterwards. Should be fairly easy. Like this is gonna get pretty light. You're gonna get a tiny bit lighter. That's perfect. All right, let's put everything back. Okay. And now we're gonna do halftone. I think we do halftone before the sound effects. And we can use that dark one. Just bring it down a little bit. Or not the dark one, I guess it's the medium one, huh? It's the right one. I think it is. And I do think we want him to be a bit on the darker side a bit. Just to add to that grittiness. So I'm not going to be too shy about just putting it on. As long as you can tell that his sheet's white, you know. It's all good. All good. Kind of want to get a little bit more varied. A little darker in some of these spots too. You can really see that shadow a bit. Darken this up quite a bit. And little bits of texture there. And right up here. And right on that, like, what is that called? That part connects your forehead to your nose. There's a name for it. I always forget what it's called. Whatever. It's not important. It's not important. What's important is we make our handsome little guy look even more handsome. Let's darken that up a bit even more. This is why you gotta trust the process. It's a big difference from no halftone, no detail. But the tone's important to add in there, you know? Or at least for this style. And what's great is we're not overworking much. Should be done. Actually, I started a little later than I normally do. Not much, but a little bit later. So actually, I'm not really overworking at all. Look at me. Look at me. Okay, and just a tiny bit more here. Then we'll add some of the light on top of it once we're the light halftone right over the top, just to kind of like add a bit more to the grittiness without adding too much like darkness to it. Should be in a pretty good spot. Pretty good spot. Darken that up a little bit. And this is gonna get pretty dark. Not as dark as that. Might need to add, also use the like dark, I keep using the word dark over and over again, but the dark brush. That's what it's called, you know? There was no alternative that time. There was no alternative. What do you want from me? Okay. Add a tiny bit to that cheek. And then we also want to add a little bit more to the shoulder. The shoulder's looking a little bare over here. Okay. Take the light one so we can add it to the top here. Not make it too much darker. Some on the cheeks there, some on the eye, right around here. Also on the hand. Right over here. Man, the other day, I was planning some of the upcoming covers. So really thinking way ahead. Like, I guess, let's see, I was thinking up to 14, which is like a year ahead, honestly. See, it's like a year ahead. But I was like, I kind of have some ideas, and I think I would just want to put them down on paper, even though I won't be using them for a little bit. I think I'm cooking, man. I think I'm cooking with the covers. using some storytelling to like really tell you what's going on. I just love when a cover is like, it really encapsulates the what's going on within it. I love it when you see that. All right, so the sound effects here are, we have to turn this off really quick. See the original. Crunch, crunch, slurp. Pretty easy. Pretty easy. Yeah, it's a little too big. Okay. It's like a G. Let's brush a tiny bit so I have a little bit more room to work with. Let's make this a little bit more U. Ugh, did not like that P. Okay, we could turn up the edge a tiny bit. Beautiful. I think we move this just a tiny bit down, balance out the spacing. And then we're gonna add a little text bubble there to them. We're pretty much done. Oh, let's fix that. And connect that a little bit there. I think we just want to move this over a tiny bit though. Nope. Right there. Beautiful. We're done. We're done for today. We achieved our goal. Cool. That's what we got. That's what we got. So, next page is fairly easy. Middle panel, I'm gonna change. I just don't love the like close-up smile. I tried to do it on the other panel too that I just did in the storyboard. Also didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. But whatever. I'm just gonna do something a little bit different. And yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out just like we figured out these other panels. So, happy with what I've got. Fairly simple. I'm gonna reinstall Windows. That's what I'm gonna do. But thank you so much for popping in. If you popped in, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching the VOD, I've got a new video coming out today. Other videos I'm working on. Other videos that are coming out later. So, lots of stuff to watch. So stick around. I got content. But if you are so inclined, please leave me a like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I will see you later, nibblings. Bye-bye.